Lions and Bills on Sunday. Lions and Bills in February?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? It is a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Derry with you. How's everybody doing today? It is a Wednesday, December 11th into Thursday, December the 12th. We appreciate all of you making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Lions, we've been going on since 2016, been on the video side for the last few years as well as audio. So if you're a listener on Apple or Spotify, thank you. Follow us on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. We appreciate all of you as well. Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. On the program today, we got to get into this opponent on Sunday because this arguably is the best team the Lions have played this year. We know about Green Bay. We know about Minnesota. Lions have played some really good teams this year. But this Buffalo team at 10-3 is dangerous. And they've got an MVP candidate coming to town as well in Josh Allen. We will get into that coming up momentarily here on Locked On Lions. Got an injury update for you. Who's on the field practicing today? Who is not? Also, linebackers coach Kelvin Sheppard met with the media today. And we talked all about the staff. But this could be an underrated member of the coaching staff that could be moving up quickly. I'll explain that coming up as well. And we have a call of the day. We always love our call of the day. If you want to be our call of the day, go to our SpeakPipe voicemail system at speakpipe.com/Derry podcast page. Sunday, 4:25, Lions and Bills on CBS. James Brown and the NFL Today crew will be outside of, in between, Brush, right there on Brush, right in front of Comerica Park. They'll be out broadcasting earlier in the day on their pregame show. All the good games this Sunday are at 4:00. Seriously, I wish Eagles, Steelers, or Colts, Broncos, even the Packer game Sunday night, I wish something was on at 1:00. The 1:00 slate, as Peter Bukowski from Locked On Packers likes to say, the 1:00 slate is cheeks this week. It's horrible. I think we get Chiefs, Browns maybe here, which might be interesting, but 4:00 games are all very good. Colts going to Denver and win. Indy has a shot at the playoffs. Eagles and Steelers is going to be a bloodbath. I was unaware that Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philly since the 1960s. I had no idea about that. All right, but this Sunday, we're going to talk to Joe Marino, host of Locked On Bills. That's as good a show as we have on the network. Joe's great. We're going to talk to him tomorrow for the crossover edition of Locked On Lions as we talk to Locked On Bills host Joe Marino. But as far as we go with this Sunday, Lions, of course, come in 12-1, best record in the NFL. They've won 11 straight games. But here come the Bills. Buffalo is playing immensely good football. Now, yes, this past Sunday was not their best performance, especially on defense. They gave up a 44 burger to the Rams and lost 44-42. Bills' 3 losses this year have all come on the road. At Baltimore, where they gave up 35 points. At Houston, when they lost 23-20. And then at the Rams this past Sunday, when they dropped a 44-42 game. Bottom line is this. Buffalo is still very good. And I know there's some people that have said, their schedule's been kind of weak, and they play in the AFC East, and they get to play New England twice. They get to play Miami, who's not that good. They get to play the Jets. Still got to play the games, right? This is a team that beat the Chiefs. This is a team that won out in Seattle 31-10. All right. The Seahawks are 8-5 and leading the NFC West right now. But it all starts with Josh Allen and that offense. And we've been waiting for that shoe to drop for the Lions defense for a while now. Right. And you look up, remember, it was for years we would sit here on this podcast and say, when are the Lions finally going to have a top 10 defense? Remember, they were the worst in football. Aaron Glenn's first year, they were 32nd in the league. Then they were down to 26th in year 2. And then last year in the teens. This year, the Lions defense, in terms of points per game, is second in the league, only giving up 18 points per game. And as far as total defense, yards allowed per game, the Lions are indeed a top 10 defense. They allowed just 318.6 yards per game. They are also the number one third down defense in the league. Third down percentage, they give up just 31% of conversions. 31% turn into conversions, which is number one in the league. And they're the fourth best red zone defense at 47.2%. But this Sunday is a different animal because we've seen Sam Darnold, we've seen Jordan Love, we've seen some other good quarterbacks the Lions have faced this year. But Josh Allen is just tremendous. All right. There's only 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that have a passer rating over 100. Josh Allen is one. Jared Goff is another. You look at the amount of points the Bills are putting up, and bear in mind, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, they've been hurt. Stephon Diggs is no longer on the team. Gabe Davis is gone. And yet the Bills can score. All right. Point differential in the league. Buffalo's at a plus 129. The Lions are at a plus 189, which is pretty impressive. We know that. But there's only 3 teams with a point differential over plus 100 in the entire sport. The Lions, the Bills, and the Eagles. And it starts with Josh Allen. You know, this past Sunday in that loss to the Rams, 3 touchdown passes, 3 rushing touchdowns. Bills score 30.5 points per game. The only team better is our Honolulu Blue and Silver Warriors at 32.1. Total offense, Lions are second in the league with yards per game. Bills are 10th. Rushing offense, Bills are 11th. Lions are 4th. Passing offense, Bills are 12th. Lions are 4th. As far as giveaways go, Buffalo has just 7 giveaways all year, second in the league. Lions are tied for 8th with 12. And you look up and you go, man, Josh Allen has 23 touchdowns on the year. Guess how many interceptions? 5. 23-5. He's special. And he's making throws now. If you go back and watch some tape on it, check out the All 22 or even go on YouTube, whatever. He's making some throws now on the run where, you know, he'll roll out and all of a sudden stop on a dime and throw across his body with accuracy. And the Lions defense all season long has been really, really good. They've been disciplined. They've done a nice job, even with Aiden Hutchinson out, of rushing the passer. There have been some games, yes, that the other team's quarterback has too much time. This is going to be the ultimate test, because when people are talking about MVP right now, the 2 guys that are getting mentioned the most are Saquon Barkley with the Eagles and Josh Allen with the Bills, because Buffalo doesn't have the big name offense right now. I mean, Khalil Shakir and Amari Cooper are not Jerry Rice and John Taylor. They're not even Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. By the way, shout out to Jamison Williams. Awesome stuff last night. He got some of his teammates to go down to Detroit, to the Detroit boxing gym, and they did a coat drive for the needy. That was awesome. Very cool stuff from J-Mo to get some of his teammates involved in that, as well as they are in the community. But anyway, the Bills are good, and they can score. And they put up 42 points this past week and lost. Allen is that dangerous. This is going to be exciting. And you hate to say Super Bowl preview and talk about, well, could these teams meet again? They absolutely could. They absolutely could. You look at the top of the AFC, Chiefs win every game by 2 or 3 points. Buffalo has shown they can beat Kansas City. The Chiefs' one loss this year was to the Bills. Pittsburgh is atop the AFC North. I like the Steelers, but I don't know if that's a team that's going to go deep in the playoffs with Russell Wilson and Najee Harris, and, you know, Pickens is hurt. I'm not so sure. Baltimore, when do they ever win a big game? Great team, great offense, Lamar Jackson, but they're questionable. Chargers kind of built for January and February, yes, but they're not as good as the Bills. The Lions are the best team in the NFC. And yeah, Minnesota's on their heels at 11-2. Lions can't have a hiccup here. Can you imagine? We've been talking all year about the Lions getting the 1 seed. What if they somehow ended up with the 5 seed? If they have a hiccup or two and Minnesota keeps winning and Philly's schedule is cake down the stretch, Lions need to keep winning. Top of the NFC has been really, really good, but I'm excited for Sunday's game at 4:25 because the Bills are excellent. All right, coming up next, we got excellent news on the injury front today, and we've got to get into talk about linebackers coach Kelvin Sheppard. I've highlighted other coaches on the staff before, and the staff is tremendous. It really is. But Kelvin Sheppard is really, really good too. We will get into that coming up next here on a Wednesday, Locked On Lions. And today's episode is sponsored by our friends at Built Rewards. If you're a renter, listen up. This is a total game changer. Thanks to Built, B-I-L-T, you can now earn points on rent payments just like you do with groceries or travel. Paying rent now comes with serious perks, and it's completely free to join. Earn valuable Built points on your rent and everyday spending at no extra cost. Redeem points for flights, hotel stays, and even future rent payments. With over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels in their program, the possibilities are endless. Access unique experiences that are exclusive to Built members. Love you using points for travel always, whether it's the credit card or hotel points. I'm always using those, right? And you can do that as you can turn your rent into rewards. Start earning points on rent that you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNFL. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNFL. And make sure you use our link so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Start earning rewards, if I could speak, today. It's a Wednesday, Locked On Lions, everybody. Matt Derry back with you. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget tomorrow, Joe Marino, host of Locked On Bills, will join me for the Thursday crossover. If you missed yesterday's show, the great Jim Nagy was with us. We love Reverend Jim from the Reese's Senior Bowl. All right, a quick injury update and good news on the Lions front. As we are recording right now, Josh Paschal, Levi Onwuzurike, Aleem McNeil, and Taylor Decker are all taking part in practice today. DJ Reader is working off to the side. Now remember, McNeil, Onwuzurike, Paschal, and Reader. Well, Levi, Josh, and DJ did not play in Thursday's game over the Packers. McNeil's been suffering from concussion-like symptoms, and if he can clear protocol and you get Aleem McNeil back, that is going to be huge. Taylor Decker also working out is great. He's missed the last 2 games, of course, and Dan Skipper has had to play. He did a nice job, but you want everybody from that offensive line to be healthy. So the Lions getting all 53 of the guys on their current active roster out on the field practicing today is big. Now the Bills, good news and bad news for them. Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid, who haven't played the last few weeks, Coleman the wide receiver and former Michigan State Spartan, Kincaid the tight end, they're practicing today. But Buffalo's a bit thin at corner right now. And Rasul Douglas, who they picked up from the Packers and Eagles a couple of years ago, I think it was from Green Bay, actually. Who was he, from Philly or Green Bay? I think they got him from Philly. But Rasul Douglas not practicing today. Keep an eye out on that. We'll talk to Joe about that tomorrow. But they're a little thin at corner. And if they don't have Rasul Douglas, a really good veteran who's played in like 23 games for them over the last couple of years, that would be a key loss for them against, as we know, Lions offense that just keeps humming, keeps doing their thing, man. Tops, like we said, in the NFL. So there is your injury update. I want to give some props to Kelvin Sheppard. I've talked about this before. The reason why the Lions are very successful, and the reason why Dan Campbell is as good a coach as there is in the NFL, is that he empowers his assistant coaches. Many of them, most of them, were former players in the NFL. And we've touched on Ben Johnson numerous times. We talk about future head coach Aaron Glenn and how good he is. Hank Fraley, I've said this before, is one of the best, if not the best, offensive line coaches in the NFL. Right? He's tremendous. Really, really good. We've talked about Antoine Randall L. at wide receiver. Scotty Montgomery, who coaches the running backs, is excellent. Right? Lions have had some guys move in and out as far as defensive line coaches, but this team is well equipped with assistants offensively and defensively. Kelvin Sheppard, who coaches the linebackers, of course, former NFL linebacker himself, is awesome. It's not just because he's a great interview or he gets up in front of the media and he's great today. He said Josh Allen's a beast. He called him a beast. But think about this for a second. At the start of the year, the Lions were carrying 6 linebackers. Jack Campbell Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Maben, and Ben Niemann. Of those 6 linebackers right now, there are 2 of the 6. 800-777-2907. That's an inside bit. See if anybody picks up on that. By the way, none of you guessed right on who I was talking about with the stats line yesterday on YouTube. Come on, you guys got to figure it out. But only 2 of the 6 linebackers are still healthy and on the active roster. Campbell and Neiman. All right. Then you have to add in 4 more guys that have been playing. Ezekiel Turner, Trevor Nowaski, and 2 guys they picked up off the street, David Long and Quan Alexander. You could also say Jamal Adams is in that mix too. So that would be 1, 2, 3. That's 11 linebackers. Let's make Jamal Adams a linebacker. 11 linebackers that Kelvin Sheppard has had to utilize in his toolbox this year. That's impossible. That's hard. Yes, teams have injuries. Yes, you carry guys in the practice squad, they get elevated. 11 linebackers have had to play this year? Derek Barnes goes out. It's like, all right, we still got Anzalone. Anzalone goes out. It's like, oh, man, we still got Rodrigo back. Rodrigo goes out. Reeves-Maben's been on IR. And all these guys have gotten better. Think about it. Yes, Jack Campbell was a first-round pick. He was taken number 18 overall 2 years ago. But you see the improvement. You see that every week he leads the team in tackles. Jalen Reeves-Maben was a special teamer here the first time around. Sent packing, went to Houston, came back. He plays big snaps when he's healthy for this team and does a nice job. Anzalone every year has gotten better under Kelvin Sheppard. Malcolm Rodriguez this year was really playing well. Derek Barnes got hurt in the opener, which sucks. Ben Niemann is a pro. But look at Ezekiel Turner. No one knew who that was. He was basically a special teamer with Houston and Arizona and everywhere else he's been. And Kelvin Sheppard made it a point today to say, look, when we were scouting Ezekiel Turner and picked him up from Arizona, we didn't think he was just a special teamer. We knew we could put him on the field. And last week on that big third down that set up the Packers a tying field goal, if Zeke Turner doesn't tackle Jordan Love on that scramble play, it's a first down, and Green Bay might go in for a go-ahead score as opposed to a field goal. He's playing really good football. Right? David Long couldn't cut it with Tennessee. Got released. Comes in here for Detroit, and he's given the Lions some good snaps. Trevor Nowaski, another guy, local guy. When he's in there, doesn't hurt you. And I mentioned Quan Alexander as another one that was on a practice squad that didn't make anybody's roster at the start of the year. This is a guy that has big-time NFL experience, was a starter in Tampa and San Francisco and Pittsburgh. So you have to give credit to the position coach, Kelvin Sheppard. And it would not surprise me in the least bit that if Aaron Glenn gets a head coaching job this offseason, which is a very good chance that happens, a guy like Kelvin Sheppard would move up and maybe take over as defensive coordinator. He's that respected. He's fiery. You watch him on Hard Knocks a couple years ago, just a lot of fun, gets in guys' faces, pushes guys, but that group has improved. I remember doing this show and always saying the Lions linebackers suck. DeAndre Levy, Stephen Tulloch, those guys were good players. But the Lions, for years, they've carried some pretty bad linebackers that just have not been able to work out, pan out, or be high effective, high efficiency players. And they've got a really good group now, and you've got to give Kelvin Sheppard credit. He has done a very good, fantastic job with that group. All right, we got a little call of the day coming up next. We'll talk a little culture as one of our everydayers, a local everydayer, checks in with us today. We'll do that coming up next. Excuse me. Here on a Wednesday, Locked On Lions. And Locked On Lions brought to you by IceShakers. Oh my goodness gracious, here it is. Got a little message today from one of our everydayers, the great Jeff McMichael. He got his boys, Lions IceShakers. All right. So Locked On Lions fans, I should just keep holding this up. I know you're like me. Holiday shopping, very difficult. It's not complete yet, your list. Well, if that's the case, I've got the perfect gift for you. The passionate sports fans here in Detroit would love the IceShaker. Have you heard of it? IceShaker is now officially licensed with the NFL, NHL, NBA, NCAA, and MLB, and will make the ideal gift for you. Created by and used by Rob Gronkowski and his brothers, IceShakers have sold over 1 million bottles. Right? They've changed the game with workout bottles, and this is the gift you've been looking for. Go to IceShaker.com, use the code LOCKEDONNFL at checkout, and you will save 25% on your order. All right? These babies are third-party tested. They'll hold ice for 30 plus hours. So you go to the gym, the ice in there keeps your drink cold, even if you're there for a couple hours. Heck, let alone if you put that IceShaker back in your car, later on you get back in your car, you want to drink of water, it's perfect for you. IceShakers are great. Order your Lions branded bottle today. Here it is at IceShaker.com. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL for 25% off your order. IceShakers, show your support for your team. The best branded workout bottles on the market. They are IceShakers. We got Lions and Bills coming up on Sunday, 425, the primetime game on CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, that whole crew will be in town. Tracy Wolfson, the pride of University of Michigan. Come on. They don't get much better than Tracy Wolfson. We love Tracy Wolfson. All will be in town for Sunday's big game. 10-3 Bills, 12-1 Lions. How cool is this, right? Remember for years we get to December and we were talking about the draft on this podcast, or just, getting through the end of the year with third and fourth stringers and backup quarterbacks and the Jeff Driscolls of the world having to play. And not this time. We got big time football at Ford Field, 2 more home games left, 2 road games, of course, Bears and Niners, but then the week 18 with Minnesota. These are going to be a lot of fun. These games will be a lot of fun. No question about it. All right, let's do our call of the day. Again, if you want to be our call of the day, go to our voicemail system, speakpipe.com/Derry, D-E-R-Y, podcast page. Today's call of the day from Josh, right there in the woods. Let's hear it.
Hi, this is Josh from Huntington Woods. My question is about culture. We know how strong the culture is inside of the locker room. Can't help but think that there's certainly a disconnect between what the players inside there are saying and even how some of the fans and even media have been talking over the last couple of weeks when it comes to injuries and how that's going to impact our team's ability to pull out victories. But, we've heard grit, we've heard biting kneecaps. Would love to hear any other anecdotes or, insights that you can share on how this team is specifically reinforcing the standard on playing on the field, regardless who is there playing, and how to reinforce that culture as we move through the rest of the season. Would love to hear any inside info that you've heard that you'd be willing to share. Thanks again. Fantastic show. Everyday listener here. Keep it going. Let's go.
All right, Josh in Huntington Woods, thank you so much for calling in and asking about culture. And Josh is spot on. I mean, all the things that are printed on the hats and the Detroit Army and grit and all of that are all true. And you want an anecdote, I'll give you one. What's going on in Philadelphia right now? Look at it. The Eagles are playing tremendous football. They're a game behind the Lions. They're 11-2. And anybody at the WIP in Philly or the other sports station there in Philadelphia is talking about is this alleged rift between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Because Brandon Graham, Detroit's own, friend of the pod, we've had BG on the show. Brandon Graham was on WIP radio in Philly and said, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown used to be close. It's like, wait a minute. A.J. Brown came out after a win last week and complained about the passing game. Graham doubled down and went on the radio and said, yeah, these guys used to be very close. Not anymore. He had to then apologize to his teammates. Remember, Brandon is out for the year. He's injured. But he had to apologize to his teammates and said that's not what he meant by it. And kind of had to diffuse that situation. That doesn't go on here. Right? When Jameson Williams doesn't get any touches in a game, does he bitch and complain? No. Sam Laporta? No. Khalif Raymond? No. Tim Patrick ever throw his helmet on the sideline and get in Jared Goff's face? No. Amon-Ra St. Brown? Guys are on the same page. Guys get along. I hear all the time about teammates that go out. Last night, the event out of Detroit Boxing Gym, Jameson Williams, it just wasn't him and the receivers. There were cornerbacks there, and Carlton Davis was there. Guys go out together, and it's not just the O-line just hanging out or just the receivers. They all genuinely like each other. And the BS that goes on with other teams and infighting and meetings and receivers, mad at the quarterback and finger pointing does not go on here. Look at how easily a guy like Zadarius Smith came in and fit in. And in his first game, when he got his first sack, he's celebrating with his teammates. They know his sack celebration, the first game that he played in. So that's real. And it accounts for something. Yeah, you got to have talent. You got to draft well. All right, I'll take Penei Sewell's talent over Penei Sewell's pregame speeches. But there is something to be said about the guys that all get along and the things that go on off the field that might be issues we have no idea about in the media, because the Lions take care of it behind closed doors, and they're extremely professional. So, all right, thanks for that phone call. Appreciate that. Joe Marino tomorrow from Locked On Bills, the Thursday crossover. Matt Derry with you. It's been a Wednesday Locked On Lions. Have a great rest of the night, everybody.